All right, let's do this. 5 synths or pieces of electronic gear that I will never sell. I will be sad if they break. This is a follow-up to one of my earlier videos where I focused on pieces of gear that I would be getting rid of. Very possibly pieces of gear that I've already gotten rid of by this point. Today's sponsor is DistroKid. They are a music distribution platform and they just dropped something huge. It's called DistroVid. It's kind of a game changer. It allows you to release music videos on platforms like Vivo, Amazon Music, Tidal, Apple Music. This is a first of its kind, and if it's something that you think applies to you, stay tuned. More about it later in the video. So starting with the Digitakt, let's just get this out of the way. If you're a fan of this channel, you already know that I've been thriving with the Digitakt. I absolutely love this thing. It's currently the centerpiece of my DAWLESS setup. I use it as the brain. I drop samples into it. I've already kind of started to integrate the Digitone along with it. And coming to think of it, the Digitone is another one actually that I would never get rid of, but for me, the Digitakt kind of stands out. It's just so fluid. I find that the important pages are just like a click away. Samples, if I want to switch my samples, boom, right there. The things that need to be easily accessible are right there on the surface. 8 instrument tracks, you're able to upload as many samples as you want per track, or you could keep each track separate. 8 MIDI tracks as well. It's just a killer brain. If you've been sort of following my DAWLESS journey, I've had a goal to completely eliminate menu diving, or most of it. The Digitakt receives MIDI information flawlessly. And to sort of my disappointment, this can't be said about some of the most sought after gear in the synth and DAWLESS world. If you know, you know. It's got a solid mixer as well, so audio source from 2 different instruments, and I could effects those with delay as well as reverb. Exporting audio via USB is also a very simple tool to use with Overbridge. You can very seamlessly record each of these tracks to individual stems into your DAW. Every DAWLESS instrument has its weak points, shall we say. Time stretching your samples is not really a thing on the Digitakt. There is like a sort of a complicated workaround, but the end product ends up being kind of choppy. I mean, not really usable unless it's for something specific. Also, the effects are pattern-based, even if you select, let me find it here, global effects mix. So even if I check all of these, if you switch from one pattern to the next, all of your effects and like your filters and your reverbs and all that, they're just gonna reset going into that second pattern. Whereas the next step up from this, something like the analog rhythm or the octatrack, it's not an issue on those units, but it's a thing with the Digitakt. And so that is a bit of a hindrance. So far my workaround has been to have an entire track on a pattern, and I have control over each individual instrument with the PC-12. Despite how popular the Digitakt already is, I still think this thing is underrated. I think that pretty much every synth user or Groovebox user, whatever, should at least try out the Digitakt. Might not be for you, but just try it. I've never heard of people having issues with it, so it's very efficient, super well built, it's super durable, and I think it's very appropriately priced. In my opinion, Hologram Electronics hit something huge with this one. Such a killer ambient pedal. I find that it's just so organic. I've had it for probably over 2 years now, and I feel like I've just scratched the surface. It's also really interesting just to see how other people are using it on, platforms like YouTube. You see it a lot in Instagram videos as well. I myself have had a lot of fun MIDI syncing it to the Digitone. You could assign LFOs to maybe, some of these parameters here just to have like a third or fourth hand help you out. Personally, my favorite preset is Interrupt. I find that it sounds especially good on drums. I also tend to use it a lot with like my arpeggio gear, so maybe like the JU-06A. That being said, if you're stepping into the ambient realm, I find that this just pairs perfectly with anything, really. This is still a relatively new pedal, and the YouTube community has given their 2 cents on it within the guitar realm and also in the synth world as well. So it's a pedal that's like, it has different branches. I highly recommend checking it out. There is only one Microcosm, and it is an absolute beast. I will never get rid of this thing. Teenage Engineering OB4. I know. Controversial. I mean, it's a Bluetooth speaker, so I use it pretty much every day for that. So convenient, perfectly sized. Aesthetic is obviously very much on point. Sounds great, loud for its size. It's 100 watts. It's been my go-to Bluetooth speaker since the day I got it. I use it around the house, like I said, at a park, any sort of hang, any sort of audio that runs through this. So whether it's the radio input or through Bluetooth, you're able to slow down that audio, loop that audio. I have used the OB4 to sample as well. Only thing is that there's no output. So unless you want to mod this thing, which I'm not really interested in opening it up, you have to record with a mic, which is fine because the speaker does sound great. I mean, it's just so quick. Here, let me find something off of the radio.
Se lever, mais elle a accepté de prendre le téléphone pour nous parler, puisque on a des mauvaises nouvelles, le Bénédicte, concernant l'homme qui a été victime d'un délit de fuite. Délit de fuite. Délit de fuite. Délit de fuite.
Getting further into sampling, let's say you're just sort of sifting around the radio trying to find things to sample. There is a 2-hour buffer, so you could rewind in real time 2 hours and have all of that content to sample with. Something to consider as well is that any sort of public event that you bring this thing to, people are going to be surrounding it and asking you questions about it. So just be prepared about that. People especially like doing this. So of course it has all these fun, quirky features, but I use it first and foremost just as a regular Bluetooth speaker every single day. TR-6S, so I've actually done a full-on video on why I think this thing is just severely underrated. Here it is. And so naturally I had to include it in this video. Honestly, I don't think I'd get rid of the TR-8S either, but I have a thing for the 6S. I just love the compactness of it. If you're traveling, even maybe with your laptop, this is the perfect thing to bring along with you. It's compatible with Roland's DAW software, so you could integrate it into your DAW. You can very easily drop content and projects from your DAW into the TR-6S, which I think in this day and age is just such a genius move from Roland. Because let's be real, I would say that predominantly people compose music within their DAWs these days. Everything is just more accessible. So to be able to drop that information into the TR-6S and bring it to maybe a live performance like that, just so smart. Sometimes you just need like a quick tempo MIDI clock, in which case the TR-6S just comes to your rescue. Barely takes up any space, super reliable, easy to use. It's just a win-win. ACB, so analog circuit behavior, is another thing that I always mention when talking about the TR-6S. So this is a new technology that makes the classic analog drum sounds in particular, so maybe 606, 707, 808, 909. The technology makes it feel like those sounds are coming from an actual analog circuit and not just like, samples. And I've mentioned this in a few of my videos. I actually did a blindfold test between the TR-6S and the TR-808, like the original freaking $8,000 808. And if you look at the comments in that video, there's basically no consistency. Like no one was able to tell the difference between either. A lot of people like the 6S sounds better. Plenty of memory for patterns and variations, so you could very easily fit a full-on set on this thing. For performance sake, absolutely in love with these faders. And having master effects is a nice little addition to that performativeness of the 6S. Is that a word? For the price and versus the competition, the only downfall that I could think of, and this is sort of a thing with any smaller unit that could do a lot of things. There's so much going on in such a tiny space that there's bound to be menu diving. And so that's a thing with the TR-6S. So obviously that's where, in terms of performability and having basically the exact same workflow, that's when the TR-8S would slip in there.
That's what she said.
In fact, here I have it right here. So as you can see, it's just a much bigger instrument. You have way more room for channels as well. There's a lot more knobs to work with.
That's what she said.
This is a much more of a performative instrument for sure. Whereas the 6S, you could argue that it's a bit more of a desktop instrument. Roland actually just recently updated both of these things. So they've been really good to us. In fact, here's a video on the 6S update. And this is like the perfect segue into the Microfreak, because in terms of bang for your buck, this is like one of the best deals out there. Digital sounds, analog filters, plenty of sound engines to choose from. It's very diverse, but obviously like any other synth, it does have like a particular sound as well. According to my experience, I find that it's really easy to get into that like sort of dense square wave sounding thing. In this section up here, the amount of control that you have over sound design is just like crazy, especially with the sequencer. It reminds me of an Elektron sequencer, so you're able to zero in on a specific note within the sequence and then change any of these parameters here on that specific note. Obviously, depending on the type of music you're creating, but I wouldn't advise getting like too deep in that, because it's really easy for your sequence to just sound too all over the place. In terms of the keyboard, I actually don't mind it. Some people find that this is a bit of a downfall, this whole section here, because these are not like weighted keys, right? So it doesn't have that feel. Obviously, there's certain things that you're just not going to be able to play as a result, in which case you could obviously resort to the key step or any other external keyboard. Coming to think of it, I have done a lot of like TikTok, Instagram content with the Microfreak, performance type stuff. I haven't done a full-on review of it though. So that's 5. I could go on forever. There's a lot of other gear that I don't really see myself getting rid of, at least at this point. So I wanted to give like a little cheeky bonus round here because this is a piece of gear that I've been using a lot. So especially if you're stepping into like the DAWLESS live set world, having a solid MIDI controller is so useful. It basically eliminates menu diving. So the PC12 is that. It's from the company FaderFox. This is actually, I'm pretty sure it's one person running the entire thing. I might be wrong on that. And the fascinating thing to me is that FaderFox is not on social media. So if you look up their Instagram account, TikTok, YouTube, whatever, you'll see their products being reviewed, but there's no actual FaderFox accounts, which to me speaks volumes about the product, because he's pretty much relying on word of mouth and people liking the product and doing reviews about it. I actually reached out to FaderFox to do like a content for product trade, and the response he gave was hilarious. I'm not going to show the email, but he basically showed zero interest. And I mean, like, you gotta respect that. I do already have some content with this in the Digitakt out if you'd like to take a closer look at how I'm using it, all the ins and outs of it. And just to be clear, there are 2 MIDI ins as well as 2 MIDI outs. So the Digitakt and the Digitone would be the extent of this setup. But it really does work wonders. If you're starting to use several instruments within a set, it's good to just have all of your controls in one spot so you're not menu diving constantly. I mean, it's pretty much impossible to get away from it completely, but this definitely helps a lot. And now, more about DistroKid. I mean, they distribute like 1/3 of the world's music, so I'm sure you guys are already aware of this. They are a music distribution platform. And now they're stepping into content or video distribution, so they have a new feature called DistroVid. It's the easiest way for artists to get their music onto Apple Music, Tidal, Amazon Music, Vivo, and keep 100% of your earnings. As a DistroVid member, it works similarly to DistroKid, so you have a yearly fee and you're able to upload as many videos as you want within that year. Anyone with a DistroKid account is able to register. As one of their most active creators, they actually gave me this special discount link for you guys to use in case you're not already a DistroKid member. Independent artists and producers, this is a really big move, so if you want to learn more about it, go to distrovid.com. And so there you have it. I mean, I guess I should never say never about selling gear. Anything could happen, right? There's always that possibility of something new coming out and overshadowing anything from my top 5 list here, in which case, yeah, maybe I'll get rid of something. But at this point, I'm down with this gear. If you're interested in purchasing any of the gear mentioned in this video, please consider using the affiliate links linked in the description. If and when you use those links, I make a small commission from that sale at no extra charge to you, so it's just one of the best ways of supporting what I do. Like and subscribe, join the community. I have a Discord as well if you'd like to join that, linked in the description. It's always great to have new people on there just kind of shooting the shit about synth stuff, so yeah, come join us. Thanks again for watching and for all of your support. I hope to see you guys soon. Cheers.